Hey Jay.
Yo.
I feel like every time we start the podcast now, it starts with me apologising to you for messing up on timings.
No, it's
So,
fine. It really doesn't matter. It's all good. It's not like I'm, got any prior engagements or anything. I'm just sitting here
well,
on Twitter.
still not
I'm a
ideal. Still
bit
not
of a Twitter
ideal.
fiend
But
these days, to be honest.
no, it's all good.
It's like my main
Jay, if it's
social
all right
media.
with you, I've got something I would like to say, but we get into the main show, if that's all right.
Okay, what would that be?
Well, also, I'm not sure how you feel about this because I haven't spoke to you about it.
Okay.
But for those listening, we're British.
Mm.
And
Oh,
Her
we're talking about
Majesty
this. Jesus Christ.
Queen
Okay, I wasn't
Elizabeth
sure where you're going to
II
go.
died earlier this week. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, Jay. I'm much more. It impacted me much more than I expected. Expecting not to be impacted at all.
Sure.
And for some reason found it quite emotional.
Okay.
So I just wanted to say a few things, if that's all right with you. I'm not sure if you're anti.
I'm definitely not
whatever.
anti-royalty. No, I quite enjoyed The Crown. I'm looking forward to season 5 and 6.
Right. Do you know what? I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna have to watch it
Tell
now.
you what,
But
mate, it's so good.
fair.
Matt Smith
Do you think
absolutely killed it in the first two
I
series.
watched a few episodes, and I think both Matt Smith and Claire Foy. I think
Claire
Foy's
Foy
accent
nailed
might be
it.
the best accent
She
I've ever
nailed
seen.
it. Yeah, it's Olivia Colman as well. They're all brilliant.
Do you think they'll change it now before it comes out, or?
They might add something at the end, probably. Yeah.
Sure. So, yeah. So this is a podcast where we discuss video games amongst a few other topics. So, video games is what we do on here, right? Apart from some movie stuff. But being British is who we are, and the royal family is an immensely strong part of our identity. I'll try not to speak for Jay, but at least a strong part of my identity, and a strong symbolic and spiritual presence for those who believe in duty for your country, honor for your service, and dedication to your responsibilities. So whether you're a follower of the Queen or not, I don't think this affects how and why her passing should be seen as a time of national and personal mourning. And I'll tell you why. I think her story is relatable to everyone, really, because she was never meant to be queen, right? She was never meant to serve her country in that role. A few unfortunate set of circumstances meant that at 25 years of age, which, by the way,
I thought she was younger than that.
A year younger than me and Jane now.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, I forget how old I am.
So she became Queen of Great Britain, the Commonwealth, and yet she took up one of the biggest roles of responsibilities the world has ever seen for 70 years. And she did that with. I never met Her Majesty, but I've heard that she had a wicked sense of humor, a humility beyond comprehension, and a constant which never wavered. So I have nothing but respect and gratitude for my queen, and my thoughts and prayers do go to the royal family and our new King Charles III.
The third, interesting, isn't it?
So if it's okay with you, Jay, I would just like to do a 90-second silence.
Sure.
Just between us two. Feel free to join in if you're listening, just to pay our respects to Her Majesty. Okay. Thanks, Jay. Appreciate it. Anything you want to say on that front at all before we begin?
Yeah, it was. I feel like it was fairly expected during the day, right? Because we heard about all the family having to rush up there all of a sudden, which to me, whenever I've seen that in any sort of like TV show or movie, or even like people who've spoken about that kind of thing, it seems to be the last moments. You know, if you know that it's going to be near the end, you want to get all the family to stop what they're doing and come to it immediately. So I kind of knew it was coming. I just didn't think it would be that quick. I thought it'd be a day or two at least, maybe even longer, like weeks or something. But I don't know. Yeah, I watched the Charles's speech on Friday, 6 o'clock. That was pretty emotional. That made me go, definitely. But I mean, even like watching The Crown and like understanding a lot of that history and like what they've done and like everything that's happened over that time, yeah, it's pretty an emotional watch. So I know you're gonna love it. You know, I kind of wish I could watch it for the first time again. Honestly, it was very special, and I can't wait. I think they were talking on Twitter the other day about casting the young actors to play, I think, a young Will and Harry. So that's going to be quite interesting to see all that lot come into it now. Right,
totally. Yeah, yeah. In terms of the speech, it was, like you said, it was emotional, and I think that's part. I think that's part of the fascination is the brutality of everything. Right, Charles has literally just lost his mother. And he now has to give an address to essentially the whole world. It was a little over 24 hours. He had to give a speech being like, yeah, I'm the king now, basically. So, yeah, very professional, you know. Yeah, 100%. And had that been anybody else, they probably would have been like really trying to hold it in to cry, not to cry, you know. Like anybody else, yeah. Well, I said to India, like, they've just got to be made of iron, like, to just do the job. Yeah, well, it's duty, really, isn't it? It's sort of that. Yeah. They're brought up to be that way, so. Yeah, totally. Makes sense. I don't know Charles that well. I know, obviously, I've never met him. I know quite a bit of his story now. I haven't watched The Crown, but right. I couldn't tell you anything about him personally. I know that he's had some controversies, but after watching him give that speech, Jay, I was like, I think that was very. I think it was exactly what it needed to be, really. Well, they're just human, aren't they? So. Can't really. Yeah, exactly. They're just human beings. Totally. Same as everybody else. All right, Jay. Do you want to get into it? Yeah, let's do it. I've been. Right. I can't wait. I've been so eager to talk to you about stuff. Oh no, I've not caught you at all really over the last couple of weeks either. Not in particular. No, I think we briefly spoke just so I reminded you about the Ubisoft Forward the other night. That's pretty much it. Yes. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Did you watch all of it then? Yeah, which I kind of regretted. I could have literally skipped the first hour and it would have been the same. Literally, the first, like 45, 50 minutes in, I was like, why? They haven't shown anything good yet. I think the only thing that I found interesting was maybe the Skull and Bones thing, but even that I was like, oh god. I was going to ask you, so you didn't find that interesting, or? I don't know. I'm still weighing up my budget, and I'm like, the Skull and Bones still might have to be a miss, to be honest. I kind of wish it wasn't, and I kind of wish it looked like much better of a game, but it doesn't. It just kind of looks a bit, you know. I don't know. Hard to say. I just feel like, if anything, the Ubisoft Forward just proved to me and a bunch of other people how much they rely on Assassin's Creed and Rainbow Six. They have nothing else to offer. They really don't. Ubisoft need to have another IP really bad, like a big one. They need at least one more, because they struggled to just have their own showcase. To be honest, like most of the best part of the showcase was the AC stuff. Well, I was confused, Jay, because I thought this whole thing was an AC showcase, and then lo and behold, it's a whole Ubisoft Forward. Yeah, no, so it was a little bit confused. But I think when they marketed it. It was like, you know, AC is definitely going to be here, so watch the whole thing. Right. So it was kind of like a, you know, watch this hand, but really we're doing something with this hand kind of thing. Well, this is basically like their E3 showing, really, isn't it? I mean, I guess, yeah. I don't think this would have been very good at like a Game Awards type thing, though. It didn't help that the Mirage leaked like a week or two before. Yeah, because I saw it on Twitter and I was like, oh bugger, I saw that. Oh crap. Like it spoiled it for me massively, but I wasn't that fussed. Totally. And on the gaming news podcast I listen to, literally their titles are like AC Japan leaked. I'm like, great, thanks for that. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, that's clickbaity stuff, right? They have to have it to bring people in. Like to me, like spoilers aren't really as much of a what's the word? I guess like a sanctity anymore. Like a lot of people online just don't give a shit whether or not you find out or not. Like this, it's sort of we're in that next like we're sort of like a split generation now, where there's a lot of millennials and like older fans who are like, yeah, spoilers, don't say anything because if not you're an asshole. But then you got this younger generation who are like, screw you, we're gonna get our money from our clickbait. It doesn't really matter. So it's kind of like, I don't know. It's a bit of like a ungrateful kind of childish behaviour type of way of thinking about it, but that's weird because I mean, even with like I can compare that to like all the Pokemon stuff that's coming out at the minute, and literally the entire game, well, the entire Pokedex is basically leaked, and I pretty much know every single Pokemon that's going to be in it.
Really?
I haven't seen all of what they look like, but I know what they are in like a general sense.
But like, isn't there only 30 or 40 new Pokemon every generation, sort of?
So this one they've added a lot more.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they've added like 70 odd.
Did they add any in Arceus?
Yeah, technically yes. There's the starter Pokemon, and a couple of other ones have called Hisuian forms, which are basically forms that are of a Pokemon that has previously existed, but it looks different and potentially has a different typing, specifically in that part of the world.
Okay.
So, like, let's say, like the fire starter Typhlosion is usually just a fire Pokemon, where it's usually from, but in Hisui it's a fire ghost Pokemon. It's got a different look to it. So different, So that's how they change things up in that. But there was only a couple of those. So, but they're going to have similar things in this too. So.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, we've already started talking about Ubisoft Forward, so maybe we should
as well
jump into that.
Please, yeah. I've got a lot of theories and stuff.
Do you want to take us to the news, Jay? Maybe I reckon we start with the news, following a couple of other small bits, and just go from there. And then if you've got anything else you want to talk about after the news stories, I reckon we just go from there, basically,
Whatever.
mate.
Yeah.
While we're there, just very briefly, what is the name of Star-Lord's ship in Guardians of the Galaxy?
I should know this, yeah.
I'm going to give you two. I'm going to give you two options here: Antares or the Milano.
Oh yeah, the Milano. 100%.
You see,
it's funny you brought up Guardians because I actually was very tempted to play through the game again. I'm kind of in the mood, honestly. It's a great game. I think it is one of the most underrated games from last year.
Interesting.
It really is. I'd say it's in my top 5 games from last year.
So another small thing, Jay, that I wanted to quickly cover before we get into the news. So The Last of Us Part 1 came out. So the remake
Did you buy
The Last of Us. Absolutely not.
Oh, that's right then.
Absolutely not. Yeah. Just a couple of quick points, Jay, on that. I'm not sure they're newsworthy, but just a couple of quick points. So one of the points is that a lot of news outlets try to make a headline saying that the reviews are worse than the original. Now, I just want to be very, very clear about this. If you look at most HD remasters or even remakes, a lot of the time the original is going to have better reviews. Yeah. So I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
It's not like an end of the world thing. But on the other hand, I also want to say, Jay, this game releasing period might be the most tone deaf thing I think any developer has ever done, in terms of nobody wants this. I know some people do want it, but
very niche amount of people, yeah, very small group.
And like, people are saying it is good. I'm sure it is good, but it doesn't mean you want it or need it.
I'd love to know the sales so far. It hasn't even been out a month, has it? Came out beginning of September, so I think it's literally been like a week and a half. Like a week and a half.
Should we have a quick? Are you googling it now, or should I Google it?
Last of Us Part 1. What's it called? Part 1.
Part 1.
But it's like.
Okay, well, look, put it like this. The Last of Us Part 1 physical launch sales in UK half of Saints Row.
Yeah, and Saints Row didn't do that well.
No. So it's still number 1 apparently, but
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to wish ill on people's art, but I kind of don't want it to do well because it's so tone deaf, right?
Oh, it's
it's
weird.
so tone deaf.
Horizon was actually number 2.
Oh, Horizon 2?
Yeah.
Oh. Horizon is very popular in the UK, to be fair.
Pokemon Arceus was number 9.
Jay, you know Nintendo Switch games just sell, you know?
Yeah, man. Good stuff. Alright. This is just UK
that was
sales,
it,
though. Okay.
Yeah, I still can't believe that game's out.
Yeah,
Jay.
I know
like,
a bunch of YouTubers sort of did the same thing where they literally just re-uploaded their previous review for the remaster and were like, yep, it's the same. Like, I guess it was like a take the mickey kind of thing, but it was kind of like, yeah, there's no need. They haven't changed anything. It's all the same. Same game.
I've heard
just
they
looks
have
different.
changed some stuff though. I've heard they've changed models and they've changed enemy placements.
Yeah, they definitely. Yeah, I think that a lot of the, the models definitely have a massive improvement. I think I want to say that the AI is still the same though. From what I've seen, they haven't really changed. There's a lot of faulty AI that never really got fixed.
Okay.
But apart from that, yeah, I think there's a couple little changes. I think they even changed a couple characters like ages or even how they looked entirely. Like, you know how they changed Spider-Man in the PS4? They did that with like a couple of characters apparently.
Yeah, Ellie basically looks like a younger Ellie. They made her look like she's a younger Ellie Part 2, if that makes sense.
Right, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense. Isn't it because the first one was based off of someone else?
I don't know who it's based off, but it did kind of look like Ellen Page.
Yeah, I want to say there was a big lawsuit with that, wasn't there?
I think so.
Because when she did that game, that like weird
Beyond Two Souls.
Yeah, they used her thing from that in like the same resources or whatever, which is odd, but okay.
I don't know if they did, but
I don't know. There was something around it. I'm not really that fussed.
So, come on then, Jay. We've got a lot to talk about. Should we start with the Ubisoft Forward, all the good stuff?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, Ubisoft Forward happened.
Have a look at the picture, so I remind myself.
Can we? Okay, all right. I haven't got the full list of what was on there, but I do know there was some mobile stuff and a Division game in there somewhere. Oh, there it is. Is that on the store? Oh, nice, Jay. Nice. I was talking about the stuff before Assassin's Creed, but I like that as well.
Yeah, it's just like a whole thing.
So there's a few mobile games I don't care about. There's a Mario Rabbids game that I don't think we care about, right?
Oh, you're just talking about Ubisoft as a whole, right? Yeah, sure. Yeah. I even messaged you saying, "Buddy, get these fucking rabbits out of there." It's like, oh, I just hate this. Yeah, they talked about. Actually, I quite liked the Riders Republic DLC.
Oh yeah.
It kind of looked interesting because it was like a BMXing type thing, which kind of like gave me a very Skate vibe.
Sure.
Like I felt there could be a game that was like Skate but with BMXing instead.
Sure.
I don't know if that would ever be a thing, but
or like they could just put BMXs in Skate, maybe kind of thing.
I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, Rabbids, Riders Republic. They put Rayman in Rabbids, which it's funny. The people are already memeing the game, basically saying that people are more happy with the fact that Rayman's in it than any other character. Which I thought was quite silly, but it makes sense, I guess, because Rayman hasn't really been in anything for a while.
We also saw some other stuff that, frankly, I just don't care about, Jay.
Yeah,
the one thing I did take note of was that Heartland, the Division Heartland.
Oh yeah. That's
is
like
that a full game, Jay, or what?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be some sort of. Is it like a battle royale kind of thing?
I thought it was just another Division game.
No, I mean it is, but let me double check.
I feel like it's basically what was going to be an expansion for the Division 2 that they've fleshed out to a game, is my understanding of it. Because I'm pretty sure they said it's a continuation of the story, but...
It is a console game. Free to play.
Oh.
Yeah. Free to play. Survival action multiplayer shooter set in a fictional small town in Middle America. Third-person shooter, RPG, action. Yeah, so we can't really. There's not really too much to go off that, but it's basically like a battle royale type thing. I want to say.
Right. Okay. All right.
Yeah. And then there was a mobile game. I think they talked about Resurgence or something.
Oh right, yeah.
Which was the one I spoke to you about maybe about a month or two ago.
Right. Okay.
Which I'm not really that fussed about. And then they spoke about season, I want to say 9 and 10. The Division 2. They're currently on season 9 and 10, which is just for the hardcore fans, I guess.
I was gonna say because like some of the Division 2 fans were getting a little bit concerned there was nothing coming out for that, right?
Well, it's weird because they haven't really mentioned anything about Division 3. So
what's going on?
Yeah, what is going on? Like, I can't stress this enough. Ubisoft need another IP, like a good one, like really bad.
Well, they've got the Division, to be fair.
Yeah, but they need to do something with it because people just are not. They're not. There's no hype.
Sure.
The only hype for Ubisoft is AC right now, and potentially Skull and Bones.
But let's look what might be in the oven, Jay. Right? Like we've probably got a Division 3 in there. Maybe we've got maybe even a Rayman game. Who knows? We've maybe got shit. I forgot. What was the other one? Oh no. Oh no.
Like a Rainbow Six thing?
No.
What else has Ubisoft made?
Watch Dogs. You might even have Watch Dogs 4.
Watch Dogs, yeah, that's true. I mean,
maybe you got a For Honor 2 coming out. I don't know.
Oh, like, yeah, For Honor. I totally forgot about that. So it's funny. We might see something at the Game Awards, potentially. They might have held off.
Potentially.
Yeah, the Game Awards are going to be massive this year. The amount of announcements we're going to get is going to be insane.
But again, Jay, well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Should we get to AC?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Well, first of all, I want to get your thoughts, Jay. But before we do that, I don't know if you know this, Jay, but all the thumbnails of all the current and
I do know because I went on Oranges today.
Oh my God, Jay! What is with it? Is this part of the Infinity thing? Do you think?
Yes. So, well, it's twofold. It's the Infinity thing, which we'll come back to, but it's also the fact that all the games are currently 80% off.
Right.
So they are sort of basically like getting people to be like, oh, the picture changed. I wonder what this is, and then they're going to see that there's deals on or something. So I think it's twofold. Well, should we talk about the Infinity thing then, just as a broad, seeing as we're already on it?
Please.
So Infinity, we thought was going to be some sort of multiplayer game for AC, right?
Yeah.
But it turns out it's going to be some sort of hub that you can go to, which they described as like an Animus of our own to go into and to basically like almost boot up
the game, right?
Boot up the game you want to play. But like if you have all of them downloaded, you have to go and pick the one you want. You just go into Infinity and do it that way. I think it almost feels like a metaverse type thing, but for AC. Right. Like a thing where people who play AC games can go and chat to each other, and then also if there's going to be, because they have mentioned that they're going to do something multiplayer, standalone multiplayer game in the future, that they're going to use the hub as some sort of like in between where you can play this multiplayer only game.
But what I don't understand about that, Jay, is that are they not just adding a step for people to boot up the game?
Yeah, that's kind of what that feels like. But I don't know if that's exactly what it's going to be. It's
I hear you.
You know, it's hard to say, but it's going to be involved with the future of AC. Let's just say that. You know, there's going to be it's going to be some sort of place where AC fans can come and chat, and almost like a forum. You know, just like a console, almost like an MMO type situation.
Well, it kind of sounds like the Halo channel, what that was trying to be.
Yeah.
A bit like lore and game. You can boot up games there. You can look at videos. You can look at esports. Like, I kind of get that, right? Maybe like it's an AC store. Maybe you can look at lore videos. Maybe you can look at summary videos, like
photos that boot up people have taken in game and stuff, and you can like vote on stuff.
Concept
compare
art, like
trophies and achievements. I don't know, whatever it might be. Stuff like that, you know.
Yeah,
which is fine.
So what are your thoughts on that? On that multiplayer aspect side of things, what are your thoughts on that then, Jay?
Well, what was the last time we had a multiplayer in an AC game? Was it AC2 Brotherhood?
Good question. No,
3?
It was AC4 was PvP.
Oh, Black Flag,
and then
and
then Unity had co-op.
Right. Okay. So Unity got rid of the multiplayer. The multiplayer where you have to go into a room and try to find the other assassins and kill them before they kill you.
Correct.
Because my nostalgia of all that is playing AC2, Brotherhood Revelations, like all that because where you had to like put on the mask and like you were different characters and almost like a COD system where you leveled up and there was like prestiges and stuff, all that kind of stuff.
I have great memories of that. I don't know about you, but I
remember
really
playing that heavy. That was such a good game.
Yeah,
oh
really
man,
good.
that was so fun.
I mean, some people think Brotherhood has the best single player campaign. Some people, so
I don't know, hard to say.
But yeah, so that's that. Okay. So then,
should we start with Mirage?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay.
How much do you know? Have you looked into it too hard?
No.
Okay.
So I know that it's... Oh, sorry.
Go on. Please. Tell me what you know, and then I'll be able to judge.
Basim from AC Valhalla.
Yeah, who is also the human incarceration. Is that the right word? Human embodiment, reborn as Loki. I want to say from Valhalla. Spoilers, but yeah.
Yeah, totally.
So we'll find out more about his origin, where he comes from, and how he managed to get over to Valhalla in the end.
Right. And then it's set in Baghdad.
It is.
And it's...
Do you know where Baghdad is?
Middle East?
It's in Iraq. And do you know what Iraq used to be called before it was called Iraq?
No.
Persia.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh.
Well, I want to say it was like Iran and Iraq. It was like the whole Middle East, basically. It was called Persia. Now, where have we come across Persia before in an AC game?
Odyssey?
Yeah. Where in Odyssey?
Well, we're Spartans, so we fought them at 300, right?
Yeah, okay. Where else in Odyssey? As part of one of the DLCs, the first DLC.
I was just thinking about that. Legacy of the First Blade.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember fighting the Persians, but...
do you remember Darius?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was that whole thing, right? Darius was an assassin of the Persian king at the time.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that there's some sort of like Persian crossover there, where we sort of maybe meet one of Darius's relatives or ancestors or something. Maybe Darius is like part of a bloodline that's also to do with the Baghdad and all that kind of stuff. We don't know. I kind of hope so, because we know that Cassandra had a kid with Darius' son, right? That was the whole point.
Yeah. Who then ended up being...
Yes, exactly.
Is it Ava?
Yeah, I think that's her name. Who's from Origins.
Yeah.
And we know that Layla is also ancestor of Ava as well, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So pretty much there's like a weird like bloodline of assassins that we're following that's almost like Desmond, right? So Layla is almost like the new Desmond. And Desmond was the ancestor of Altair. Oh, no. Is it Altair?
Altair,
yeah. Altair, right, yeah, exactly. So we're sort of coming across this sort of pattern now of character from an AC game has a future relative, and that future relative has to like go and figure out stuff to make sure the end of the world doesn't happen. Like, that's kind of where we're at right now.
But obviously, like, that's changed now, right? Because Layla and Desmond are doing that whole Adam and Eve thing, and now we're playing in the present day as Loki reincarnated. But we're about to find out where his person came from, but not Loki, but kind of Loki.
Because we know that Eivor is the human, like the sort of reincarnation of Odin.
Yeah.
So there's probably going to be tie-in with the other characters, the other gods that have also come into their human form, right?
Right.
So is the rest of AC now going to be them popping up and trying to stop Loki? Is that kind of the point? Do we think? Do you think Loki's like the bad guy and almost like an Avengers Thanos type situation?
I always got the impression Minerva was the bad guy.
She definitely had her own motive, and that was part of the thing with Desmond, wasn't it? With trying to stop Minerva.
Yeah.
And then there's Juno as well, right?
Oh shit! No, you're right, Jay. I'm thinking of Juno.
Yeah, I think Minerva was the good one, and Juno was the bad one.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm thinking of Juno. And then we had you remember the Sage, the guy that kept coming. So like,
it's a lot to think about. We're getting into some really heavy AC lore right now.
We really are. And then Juno's in the last AC Odyssey DLC as well.
Yes.
Right. And then we see this other female as well.
Yeah, so I kind of have a feeling that we're going to see all these gods pop up as their human forms in current day. And there's going to be
Okay.
an AC game in the future where there's going to be almost like a crescendo of like everyone coming together, and there being either a happy ending or a bad ending. You know,
Sure.
that's kind of the future I see. Or maybe the
So
Infinity thing is sort of implying it's almost like a thing being like history just repeats itself over and over and over again, and we're sort of stuck
that
in an
has to
infinite loop
be.
of humans being reborn as these gods, and it's happened before these gods, but they were different names back then. You know, that's kind of like my
Sure.
theory. That's my personal fan theory.
Okay. All right.
I'd love that to
Let
be
me
the
give.
thing because it's almost like a Groundhog Day type situation.
I think Jay, you're right in that we're going to see more of these gods pop up. Yeah,
I hope so.
but I'm
I
still
want to see
not.
Loki get
I'm.
his ass kicked again.
I'm still not entirely sure what the whole Desmond Layla
Oh, they'll come back into it because
storyline
the
is
whole point with
going
that is that
to.
they're trying to find an answer. They're almost like the Doctor Strange. They're trying to find that one scenario where time can be different. And as soon as
Right.
we know that what we have to, because I reckon obviously they'll find the answer eventually. We'll know that we'll have to be a certain character in a certain timeline to figure out why that happened, and then in the future we'll be able to change it. That's probably what it'll come down to,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
imagine. But we are going to get some more answers about Basim in this last free DLC called The Last Chapter in Valhalla.
Yes.
Do you
Well,
remember?
just before we move on to that, Jay, the only other point I wanted to make about Mirage is it's going back to the fundamentals, apparently, a bit more like AC1. Is
Yeah,
that
so the
right?
whole thing with that is that you know how me and you spoke about there was like errors of AC? So you had AC
Yeah.
1
Yeah.
to Black Flag was sort of like the more stealth orientated game,
Yeah.
whereas I guess you could say Black Flag was sort of leaning into the open world. And then since then
Totally.
we've got more of an open world RPG game.
Well, you're forgetting the second era, Jay, which is Unity and Syndicate,
Yeah, that was sort
which
of like
is
the crossover, right? It was sort of
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
bridge between the two. So what these games that are coming out are going to be? They're going to do almost like a Call of Duty thing, where one set of studio makes the stealth story based game, and the other one makes the open world RPG. One will only be maybe 30, 40 hours long, and the other one will be more like 100 and something hours long. So they're going to go back and forth. Whether they're going to go like one and the other, or then do two of the same, I don't know. They could flip however they want to do it, but that's kind of where we're at right now. Is that trying to figure out. We know what's going to happen with Mirage is going to be the sort of back to basics, and the Feudal Japan one is going to be more open world. It's going to be more like Valhalla.
Right, 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 right. So Mirage, yeah. Apparently Mirage was going to be a post-launch DLC for Valhalla that's turned into its own game, Jay. So there's no way this is 70 quid, and there's no way this game's going to
Oh
be
no,
50
it
hours
will
long,
be.
right?
It'll be 70.
Okay, but there's no way it's like 60 hours long, in my opinion,
No, they
right?
said that the main story will be 15 to 20 hours long,
Okay.
which is nothing.
So what are your
Not
thoughts
even
on this
worth the
game?
money, if you ask me.
So why? Okay, I'm just trying to get my head around these times. So this
Yeah.
is coming. Do we think this is coming out late next year?
Oh, they said
Like
this is coming out 2023. Yeah.
So do we think like October, November sort of thing?
September at the earliest. Maybe even July
Uh,
at the earliest.
and how excited are you for this? Are you getting this day one?
Yeah. I want to
Okay,
find out more about Basim, man. Basim's an interesting character.
it's true. It's
I'm
true.
actually kind of intrigued. Like Basim was he was a main character in Valhalla, if you ask me.
Yeah, totally.
Like he's a big part of the reason why Eivor does a lot of what he does.
Yeah.
So I think he plays a pretty big role. So I'm kind of interested to see where we go.
And as you were saying, Jay, the final chapter coming out for free.
Yeah, so Final Chapter is supposed to be the bridge between Valhalla and Mirage. I reckon, well, from what I've seen of the last chapter and what I've heard online and what they've spoken about in interviews and stuff, it is primarily surrounded around Eivor and Basim and more of their relationship, I want to say. So we'll see, because the last we saw of Basim was him in the modern day, right? So whether we'll see more modern day Basim, or maybe we'll see Basim from back in the day, I'm not really sure. Because even in the story, obviously we defeated Basim to a degree, right? So
Yeah.
he can't really
Well,
still be around unless he is. I'm not really sure.
no, we didn't though, did we? Because we end up playing him in present day. Or do you?
Well,
sorry, you mean in the Valhalla story?
yeah, in the Valhalla
as
story, he
Eivor?
kind of like is
Yeah,
not
yeah,
really
yeah.
around anymore. He's just disappeared,
Yeah.
right? So we don't know
Yeah.
where he's gone to. I guess we'll find out. I'm a bit because this is a free DLC. I'm a bit worried that it's literally just going to be like a mission or two. I was kind of hoping it'd be like a bit more of a DLC, but obviously you have to pay for it if it was more than that. But I'm kind of glad it is free because it's more to do with the story than actually like something extra, you know.
Yeah, totally.
The fact that it's called the
Totally.
last chapter is kind of cool too, I guess. Kind of
How are
puts a
your
pin in
thoughts,
it.
Jay, on... Are you quite glad that this is the final thing for Valhalla? Because last time we
Yeah.
spoke about Dawn of Ragnarok, you were like, yeah, I'm getting a bit
Yeah,
bored of
it's weird. When I
Valhalla
was
now,
seeing
so...
it come up, when I was watching the forward, I was like, oh, great, they're going to actually end this on a good note rather than what we just had.
Sure.
And I don't know, we have to see whether it is a good note or not. I was kind of, yeah, I mean, last time we spoke, I was kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of done with Valhalla in terms of like, I really hope they don't bring out any more DLC. But this seems small enough for me to be happy to be like, okay, they're actually giving me lore and history and something that would actually help me into the next game. So yeah, I'm glad about it in that sense, 100%.
I don't know when to say bye to. Well, I don't know when to say bye to these games, Jay, because like the ending of Valhalla, like Valhalla's so long anyway, and the ending's like pretty good. And then we have the DLC endings, and then we have these other endings like Dawn of Ragnarok, and then we have this ending, and it's like I don't actually know when I can go. You know, like okay.
I think after this DLC, it'll definitely be an ending, 100%. Like I said goodbye to Odyssey after the third DLC, pretty much.
Sure.
I was like, after the Atlantis thing, I was like, yeah, I'm okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
That's enough for me. They ended it quite nicely, so this will be a similar thing, I imagine.
On that, Jay, that means that, and that is that coming out end of this year, by the way. Do you know?
Oh yes, it's coming out. They said within the next few months, so I reckon that might even be December. I'd say. I reckon it might even come out around the week of the Game Awards.
Okay.
So around the beginning of December.
Because I think that's a good amount of time for us to have a break from AC leading up to Mirage. And then also, don't want to be that guy, but Mirage isn't going to be a Valhalla-sized game either with loads of post-launch content.
No,
so that's good
the point,
because,
yeah.
So that's going to bridge the gap between that and Feudal Japan, right?
Yeah. I mean, we don't... a lot of, from what I've heard of people online, they were like, yeah, 2024 we'll get the Japan one. Where I'm thinking 2025. Although the fact that the Mirage isn't going to be an open world thing means they're probably not going to do that much. I mean, I'm hoping we get DLC for Mirage. I'm hoping the DLC is more like what we got with Odyssey, or like we got with.
No way, bro. I think if we get DLC for Mirage, it's going to be like Tiny Tina. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah. I guess. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not getting my hopes up, I guess.
I don't want to shoot your hopes down. I'm just thinking, you know, if Mirage was a DLC originally, like I think doing DLC for a DLC that's
I see.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes. That is a bit odd, but yes, I understand. Yes.
Don't get me wrong. Then, I get you.
We might actually.
I know why you want DLC.
The Japan one in 2024. In that case, if Mirage is almost like I'm not sure how far along now. Like if it's a small game. Like, okay, how long was the story in Brotherhood or Revelations? Like, that's kind of what I'm comparing it to right now. Because they weren't like... I mean, they are full games, but then they're smaller, right? But to me, they're big.
I would say between 10 to 20 hours.
Really?
Personally. Yeah.
I feel like they were a little bit more than that. I feel like they were like 20 to 30.
I would say 20 to 30 for the whole game.
That's that's kind of more what I'm going off of.
Oh, okay.
So if we're looking at that size, then it might even be they might already be maybe polished in the next couple of months. I doubt it, but it just depends how long they've been working on it for, I guess. Because we know that a different team is working on it, right? I think Montreal are working on Mirage, which were the original team from AC1.
Yeah. So here's what I want to discuss with you. Yeah. So Montreal, I think, did Valhalla, who were doing Mirage. Which makes sense, right? Because that was going to be a DLC for Valhalla.
Yeah.
So that they released Valhalla in 2020, right? And then is it Quebec is the other studio who did Odyssey? That came out in 2018, Jay.
Oh, but so they're going to have a long time, yeah.
But the DLCs were huge, so I imagine they were still working on that game till 2019, right? Mm-hmm. So it'll be 5 years by the time Feudal Japan comes out that they stopped working on Odyssey, probably. So that's quite a long time. I would say, right?
Yeah, 5 years.
So then Montreal, then after Mirage, you would think are going to be working on that other one. Probably not going to come out till maybe 2026, 2027, under the assumption that the Feudal Japan one's going to have at least 2 years of post-launch content. Does that make sense?
Oh, I see. Yes. Yeah.
You get
I do. Yeah, I'm just thinking like it's. I'm kind of actually a bit more hyped now that with the fact that the people who made Odyssey are making Mirage, right?
No.
No, Valhalla.
People who made Odyssey are making Feudal Japan.
Oh, that makes me excited. That makes me excited. I'm kind of
People who made Valhalla are making Mirage, which is Montreal.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Who made AC1?
Getting my mind around it. But like, it is very similar to the whole COD thing, right? You know, different. Well, I say they're different, but they're technically the same company, just different divisions.
Totally.
But we've actually got like I'm kind of glad that we've got like a roadmap.
Yeah.
Because we've never really had this level of roadmap with AC before. They've never ever told us anything above or past the next game ever.
Correct.
This is the first time in history where they've actually told us about what even the next game after the flagship game is going to be about, and it's like we've never had that before. Like they never mentioned anything about Valhalla after Odyssey. It's like insane to me.
Totally, Jay. I need to discuss this with you. So first of all, that one after the Feudal Japan one.
Yes, I know a decent amount about it.
Please.
What have you heard?
Nothing.
Okay, I can tell you a little bit about it if you want. Are you sure you want to know?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, so it's called codename Hexe, or Hex, I guess, depending on how you want to say it. So Hexe. So when I saw the initial thing, even before like it had got down to the little stick figure thing, in my mind I was like, oh, they're doing the witch trials, 100%. So they're doing Salem witch trials, and I was like, okay, that could be interesting. They can maybe tie that into the whole AC3, AC Rogue type thing, because it was sort of around that time. But then when it came up with the name, I was like, oh, they meant the German witch trials. Because they were in the 16th century, there was the German witch trials, which were a lot more, I guess, historic, a lot more high profile than the ones in Salem. Like whenever you mention the witch trials, people are like, oh, you mean the Salem ones? But people who know a decent amount about history will be like, oh, you mean the German ones? So I reckon they're probably going to be, because it's Hexe, I think is the German way of spelling hex. So
that is so cool.
Yeah, so that gives us like a good indication as to it's more than likely going to be 16th century. Witch trials.
I kind of wanted a World War II German one, but I'll take the Hex.
I'll take it too. Dude, which they're going to do all that voodoo shit from bloody Valhalla. I can't wait, dude. The Irish voodoo stuff, man, that was my favourite DLC, 100%.
Yeah, that was cool.
Oh, it's so good, dude. I can't wait for more voodoo. Voodoo, yes, please.
Voodoo, you hoodoo, bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, totally.
I can't wait. That's so cool.
So on the note of the roadmap, Jay, right?
Yeah.
So I get you that like it's nice to know what's coming.
Oh
even
yeah,
though it might take
the hype
forever,
is built
right?
now. The hype is so built.
Right, it's there. But on the other hand, Jay, we come back to this ever constant problem.
Yes, I know what you're going to say, because I've been thinking the same thing.
Thanks for telling me the game that's coming out in 2027. Appreciate it.
They're doing the whole like Cyberpunk thing almost, right, where they're just building the hype. Like we even spoke about this, like 1 or 2 podcasts ago, about how the marketing nowadays is more about building the hype for a game that isn't coming out for like a decade. Because for some reason it builds hype and it gets people excited to want to play it. Like it builds, like I even mentioned on the podcast before, I was like, it makes your imagination go more, so that when you want to buy it later on, you've already got an idea of how good it's going to be in your head. So I think that's what it is. They're literally feeding off of people's imaginations for longer, because they're letting it build and stew for longer. So I think it's actually a really smart way of doing it, honestly.
From a marketing, I get you, right? Because now people are already talking about Hexa or Hex or whatever.
People are speculating, yeah. I mean, they gave us so much, like even just with the image and the name, they gave us so much information. It's insane. It's probably one of the best teasers I've ever seen.
This is a definite change of approach from their previous stuff, but maybe that's because of the Infinity thing. Maybe this Infinity project has kicked off the fact that they've given us this much information about future Assassin's Creed titles. You know.
It makes me so happy to know that AC will live on. Like I'm just so excited now that it's just going to keep going. Like I want to know what happens after Hex now.
Jay, we need to acknowledge we've probably taken in too much information because we're glancing over the fact that we're getting an Assassin's Creed Japan.
Yeah,
Finally.
we need to come back to this definitely. Yeah, Japan. It's weird, like the amount of we've spoken about how it probably couldn't be done now because of Tsushima.
Right.
But we know this is going to be open world. We know it's going to be like a Valhalla or an Odyssey, which to me is probably the best way you could have done it. But a lot of people online are like, probably would have been better if this was the stealth based one.
Right.
It being about
Makes
ninjas
sense.
and shinobi and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. It's hard to say. But I've already got a picture in my head of how it's going to look, and I'm kind of like, yeah, pretty excited about that. Like, I'm hoping that by the time it comes out, I'll have got past the whole Japan thing, in that we've had a lot of Japanese media recently. We've had obviously Sekiro and Ghost of Tsushima, so I'm hoping that by then I'll have gotten over the annoyance of it being shown too much. Like the whole Asian thing is just like it's getting smacked in our faces. We're getting so much Chinese stuff in the next couple of years too. We're getting that Wo Long thing. We're getting the Black Wukong game.
Right.
We're even getting this AC
that
mobile game. It's supposed to be in China as well.
Oh my god, Jay! With that Team Ninja game, that Xbox exclusive one, that's another. Is that Chinese?
Is that the Wo Long one I was talking about?
Oh, sorry.
I think that might be Wo Long. Same people who did Neo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. That's going to be on Gamepass day one, I think, as well. Yeah, we're getting sort of hit with a lot of the same sort of ideas and themes, right? And I feel like we had zombies before, we had battle royales. Like it gets a bit boring after a while. So I'm hoping by that point, the Japanese theme is sort of like diminished a little bit, so that by the time it comes back around again, I can be excited about it.
I think so. Jay, a few things. Why now for feudal Japan? We've waited this long. What made you think that like behind the scenes they were just like, yeah, right, it's time? You know?
Ghosts. I honestly think if Ghost of Tsushima hadn't come out, they would have never done it.
But Jay, oh god, Ghost of Tsushima sold loads of copies because it's an open world Japan game that everybody wanted for like years. Oh, I wonder why it sold so many copies. Like, do you know what I mean?
I think it's also maybe they just wanted to get certain story beats done in a certain order. They didn't want to muck it up. They didn't want to release a game early just because people wanted it and they could cash off of it more. Weirdly, I think this might be the first time in history that I've seen a game company care more about the story than the money they make. Weirdly. I honestly don't know if it was on purpose, but it seems to be that way. It seems to be that it was almost unavoidable.
I know what you mean though, Jay, because believe it or not, guys, the historical periods of where AC is set is not particularly based upon fan requests, let's be honest, right?
No, it's more to do with the story than anything else. It's more. Yeah. It has to be how the story links. The story has to make sense.
Like, I'm not saying people didn't want a Viking or an ancient Greece AC at some point.
I love both of those things.
But like, feudal Japan is definitely above both of those, right?
Yeah,
like, in terms of fan requests.
Yeah, it's the most requested AC location, 100%.
And then furthermore, Jay, where's that Indian one? Where the hell is that Indian AC game?
We've technically had it, right? We've technically also had the Chinese one and the Russian one, but they're spin-offs, so they're not full.
Yeah.
Indian one.
But that makes me think that they do make the games they want to make rather than the ones that we want, really, in terms of time period at least. Because otherwise, we would have had Japan 5 years ago. We would have had India 4 years ago.
Exactly. I almost kind of don't want to think about it because it almost ruins it a little bit in my head. Of like, I kind of want to just wait and see what they come up with before I make any sort of imaginative idea about what the Indian one could look like, or whatever. I mean, in the future, I think they might even do an African one sooner than an Indian one.
Which is very exciting.
Like a Zulu type thing?
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I'd be in that. Really I'd be into that. Like, if it was like even during the Zulu War. Do you know about that?
Yeah.
And like them going up against the British.
Oh.
In the Redcoats, you know about all that kind of stuff?
As in when they were like, is that when they were taking over Africa?
I'm talking like 1800s, like fairly recently.
Yeah.
I have to look this up really quick. Have you seen the movie? There was a movie about it as well.
No, I don't think so.
Let me check when it was. Anglo-Zulu War, 1879, yeah. British Empire and the Zulu Kingdom. That'd be great if they did an AC during that, and we found out, oh man, dude, this is perfect. I can't believe I just come up with this. You could do the enemies in the Zulu one could be the Templars, because they're from Britain, right?
Right.
Because Templars, I think Templars, I think like Britain. I don't know why.
Yeah, no, totally. Like Empire.
Yeah,
blah,
Empire,
blah,
like all that
blah.
kind of stuff. Yeah, that'd be great if they did that.
100%.
Man. I could definitely see them doing that.
And then this, the Chinese mobile game, Jake. First of all,
yeah, codename Jade, which is great for China, all the jade and stuff. Makes sense.
Right. What a tragedy being on mobile, there, Jake.
It's funny because I had a feeling you'd be like, "Oh, you're gonna love this because you like mobile games." But honestly, AC should stay as far away from mobile as possible.
So is that because in your head, AC is a console game? If you know what I'm saying, like
it's just that I feel like this is the decision that's more about money than it is about story.
Yes.
To me, when a company goes mobile, it means they're trying to make more money.
Totally.
They don't give a shit about story, and if they do, it's because they are just trying to jam it in with the money kind of aspect.
And did they say this is an open world MMO?
Which one?
The Jade one.
I honestly haven't looked into it enough to know. I do know. I know the time it's set and the place it's set. I don't know much past that.
And again, why is that not a AAA game? But alas.
Honestly, I kind of think they're wasting a AAA game. Yeah, they totally could have had a Chinese one in the future. But maybe they're 100%. Thinking if they're doing Japan, it's too similar to China. I don't.
Yeah, I get.
Japan and China share so many similarities culturally and language based. Same with Korea. Like
True.
Korea, China, and Japan are very similar in their culture, in old history culture, but newer stuff it changes a lot.
True. So Japan's coming. Hex is looking interesting.
Honestly, the one I'm more excited about is Hex. Which is odd to me. Yeah, I'm all about that. I'm all about like witch trials and voodoo and all that. Japan? I feel like I've had my fill with ghosts. Like again, I want to kind of almost forget that Japan one is happening, so that I'm more hyped about it when it does finally come. Like the ones I'm looking forward to are Mirage and Hex.
Okay.
Just for now. I want to forget about Japan and come back to it.
I know that Ghost would have made an impact on casual and hardcore gamers alike.
Dude, so many more people are going to buy this AC game because of Ghosts. I can almost guarantee it.
Well, I was just about to say, right? Like, I wonder how that's going to impact the sale of this game. But frankly, Jay, Feud with Japan, if it's half decent, it's going to sell a butt ton of copies.
I think it might be the best-selling AC game. I can almost guarantee it.
100%.
Yeah. 100%. How many did Buddy Valhalla sell?
Best selling.
That's the question. Yeah, it's definitely the best, but I wonder. I'm curious actually. Let me see Valhalla sales.
Well, it was at least the best launch, as far as I remember. Let's have a little Google while you all sit there in silence. Wow.
AC Valhalla's topped $1 billion in revenue.
I just saw that.
Yeah. That was in February. Highest earning Assassin's Creed game in series history. Yeah, that's kind of insane. The thing is, there is a lot. I mean, in like the last 4 or 5 AC games, they've all had microtransactions.
Right.
So I guess they count that too.
Jay, should we move on to the other news?
Please.
All right. Okay. A lot of AC stuff. Obviously, me and Jay are big AC fans, but we'll talk about it as it comes up ever more. So don't worry.
Evermore.
Jay, a couple of Cyberpunk stuff here. I believe it's come directly from CD Projekt Red. The first one, they've decided to end development of new content for the PS4 and Xbox One. Can you break this down for me, Jay? Do they mean that the DLC isn't coming to it then, or?
Yes. Anything that's new coming out for Cyberpunk will only be on next gen, and
including updates or
yeah, I think that's it. I think the latest one we had 1.6 was the last update for previous gen.
So makes you wonder why they did it in the first place, right, Jay?
Yeah. Well, we know why they did it. Money.
Yeah, sure.
Because they want people who still had all those old consoles who couldn't get one of the new ones to still pay for it. But yeah, no. If you bought Cyberpunk on previous gen, you're just a moron. Like genuinely.
Dear.
Like who looks at that and goes, "Oh, that'll work on my Xbox One."
Well, yeah,
I mean, it barely works on bloody Series X, to be honest.
Well, exactly.
It works a hell of a lot better now, but.
It looks like, by the way, Cyberpunk, generally speaking, I know I'm yet to play it properly, but generally speaking, it's getting quite a bit of momentum back.
It is. So have you seen the trailer for the DLC?
No.
Good. So you might want to leave it, honestly.
Oh, okay, fine.
I mean, it's probably alright for you to see the name of it, right? You're not too fussed about that.
No.
Okay, I want to see Phantom Liberty, which is interesting. I'm not gonna say too much about it because there's already like a. Do you know what? The first thing I thought of when I watched the trailer though is, oh my god, this feels so much like a Fallout DLC. It's insane.
Like a good Fallout DLC?
Yes, a good one. Like it felt like Fallout 3 DLC.
Oh, Jay, you read my mind.
Do you remember like how that felt back in the day? Like the DLC. Yes.
Lookout. Oh man.
Imagine that feeling. That's what I currently have now, but with Cyberpunk. I'm like,
okay,
this is like Fallout 3 levels of nostalgia right now. It's kind of how it feels.
Is that right? That it's the only planned expansion? Is that correct?
Yes. After this, they're making Witcher 4.
What? So what happened to like 2 massive DLCs, loads of free DLCs and stuff?
We've had a bunch of free DLC. We just had one a couple of days ago with the Edge Runners update.
Okay.
Which I've been playing the last 2 days. It's actually been kind of fun.
What do you want to talk about it?
Yeah. So update 1.6, they did a bunch of bug fixes, frame improvements. It just made the game run better, essentially. It's pretty much consistent 60 now. Like it definitely dips here and there. Still, I think it plays better now on PS5 than it does on Xbox Series X, which is fine. It's still the same to me. They added, I think, 3 new missions you can play. They're not very long. They're only probably about 20 minutes each. So they've added like an hour extra of gameplay, basically. They also added 6 new weapon types, which is kind of insane. So there's whole new weapon. Yeah, there's like 6 new weapons essentially. I think there's 2 melee. I think 1 revolver, 1 assault rifle, 1 shotgun, and 1 sniper rifle, something like that. They added like a couple. They added features where you could change your appearance now, and you could also you can also transmog your outfit. So if you don't like the way your armor looks, you can make it look how you want.
Wait, so you can change your appearance before?
You could, but you had to change your whole armor. So say you had 2 bits of armor. One was like 30 armor, one was 15, but you preferred the way the 15 one looked to the 30. But if you wanted to survive more, you'd obviously have to wear the one that didn't look as good. But now you don't have to worry about that.
Right?
Yeah, so you can now transmog it to make it so you look cool. So all my I literally went through all 4 of my characters and was like, I'm going to make them all look great.
Nice.
So I've always had a bit of an issue with how some of my characters look, but they all look great now. So.
Nice.
Very happy with that. But yeah, no, it's a good update they've done, and been playing it a little bit, sort of just to remind myself. It's weird. I'm actually kind of like back in the Cyberpunk mood, but I kind of want to like, wait for the DLC. But that's not going to be out till next year, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on this being the only DLC, Drables?
It's annoying, but I mean, obviously people want The Witcher, so they're concentrating on that, aren't they?
Yeah, but it's not about what the people want, right? It's about what the people need.
I also think it's been long enough since Witcher 3 now that they kind of have to make Witcher 4, because again, they know it's going to make them a bunch of money. So they also need to build their reputation back a little bit more too. So like CD Projekt Red probably had one of the best reputations in gaming, and
totally.
I feel like a lot of companies had that recently, but they've sort of chucked it away. Like Blizzard chucked it away. Square Enix has kind of soiled themselves a little bit, honestly. In certain areas.
Apart from the actual Japan side, I would say.
Yeah, more the Western side, but there's definitely some things that Japan side have done that are a bit questionable, like the whole NFT thing.
Sure.
It's like, oh god, what the hell are these people doing? Yeah, the games are great. It's just that the actual people behind them are making some really stupid decisions.
So I guess you're just excited the fact they're making a Cyberpunk expansion, then I guess.
Yeah,
right?
And I honestly got massive chills. When I watched the trailer, I was like, "Oh my god, this is so much like Fallout." It's like insane.
When's it coming out?
It's 2023 is all we know, so I'm thinking probably summer.
Okay.
Maybe even like late spring.
Okay.
Because I know from the roadmap that CD Projekt have put out that they're basically going to as soon as this DLC is out, I think even now they're sort of transitioning into Witcher 4 mode. Basically, they're going to be really hardcore crunching on that thing. So.
In terms of Witcher 4, Jay. I get why, and if the passion from the team is there, fair enough. But I kind of want them to do a new IP, really, at this point. I don't feel the need for a Witcher 4. The Witcher 3 speaks for itself. It has a good ending. I feel like
Witcher 3, almost kind of like is the trilogy, right? It's sort of the end to the story, to a degree.
Right.
But I reckon the fat cats have went, well, Cyberpunk wasn't great, we might need to make some more money again. Why don't you make Witcher 4 instead?
Well, you say that, Jay, but Cyberpunk sold millions and millions.
Oh yeah, it made so much
copies.
money. I think it sold like, I want to say 20 million copies at this point. I could be way off.
So they must have earned their money back galore.
Oh yeah, I think they made their money back within like months or something. But
within the first week or something. But that's what I mean, right? So
hard to say.
Do they need to make The Witcher 4 from a financial perspective? You know,
maybe not. Maybe they're doing it more for the fans at this point.
Fans, yeah.
I still need to. I still don't like. To me, Witcher hasn't really set itself in my what do you call it? Like my gaming foundation, I guess you could say. Not really part of my gaming DNA at this point.
What is, sorry?
Witcher. Like I played 1 and 2, but I never really played them to the extent where I could call myself too much of a fan.
Sure.
So,
J Rules. Next
Holy
up.
shit. It sold 13.7 million copies in the first 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then it sold another 4.3 million after that, a little while after that. So I think it sold sort of roughly 18 million total.
It's a lot of copies.
Which I think is about the same as what Last of Us has sold. Last of Us I think is like 17.3 mil.
What?
Not including... What? I think that is including HD Remaster and the latest one.
But not part 2?
No, not part 2. I think just part 1, HD Remaster, and the latest, I think is combined like 13.7 mil.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Something like that.
Jay, next up. In a Microsoft blog post, very good news for us, Jay. Apparently, Activision-Blizzard's library of games is coming to Gamepass when the deal is done, which is yet to be seen. But this is exactly what I want to hear. Give me those old Call of Duties.
Yeah,
I'll even pay for some of those weird zombie maps, bro.
There was an article about how I think the British government is trying to stop it from happening.
Yes.
Because of competition, basically. They're saying it's too much of an unfair advantage for Microsoft.
Yeah, so
I think even PlayStation are trying to like do something about it too, right? The legal teams.
Yeah, so I believe the legal ramifications from when I did business studies at GCSE a million years ago was that a company isn't allowed to own 25% of the market share of whatever that thing is, right?
Yes. Which I think even PlayStation are under their own lawsuit currently with prices of digital games. Yeah, they have the same issue.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and in terms of Xbox's deal, Jay, it kind of makes me I find it interesting that the board thinks that it's going to make them too competitive because they're not winning at the moment. PlayStation's winning, so I don't quite understand
you got to think though, right?
How they would
imagine having every Call of Duty game on Game Pass, or at least the last 3 or 4, and the new one is going to be Game Pass day 1.
Yeah.
It's like, why would anybody ever go PlayStation? Just pay like 11 quid a month to have it whenever you want it.
But people will still buy a PlayStation, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, of course they will, because they'll only have a PlayStation, so they'll have to buy it. But this actually, if this happens, I will play Call of Duty like I used to.
Same.
It's the only reason I'm not playing it right now is because it's too expensive. I'm not paying 80 quid for a Call of Duty game. It's just not happening. I'm not that invested. I'm not that invested anymore.
But if you're like, oh Nick, do you want to try a campaign? It's on Game Pass. Yeah, sure.
Oh no, I'd probably just play multiplayer, but even so, you know.
Yeah. But no, dude, I totally get you. This could be a resurgence for me.
Oh yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong,
this could be my comeback.
It's funny, like even us talking about it is like basically what Microsoft want. They want people who stop playing it because it's too expensive to come back and be like, "Yo, here's your opportunity to come back." Like they're really just trying to grab the market of like people who left.
Also,
because I know Vanguard made it go way down. The people who play it now is way down compared to previous titles. But Modern Warfare 2 is going to make it go back up again, honestly.
I hope so. If we do get Diablo 3, Jay, on Game Pass, I don't
Diablo 3? I already have it. Do you mean Diablo 4?
No, well that too. But what I mean is like the old games on Game Pass.
Sure, I mean I already own it, so why would I care? I know, but you have it, don't you?
No, I had it on 360, and then I never got it on the One.
Oh, fair enough.
So like, I never played Reaper of Souls or any of that.
Oh, I did those. Okay, sure.
So I don't know what I'm gonna do by myself, but
I'll
even
do a
the old
co-op
CODs,
playthrough with you
Jay.
if you want.
Oh, nice one. But even like even the old COD, like any CODs you might have missed, for instance, like
Yeah,
they could all
Vanguard I
be
didn't
coming to Game
play.
Pass.
Actually, I can't remember what the last bloody couple were. But yeah, I'd love it if they did,
Vanguard,
because I have a feeling they'd probably keep the servers open too, wouldn't they? They'd have to.
Black Ops, Cold War.
Yeah, Cold War I didn't play.
Then we had Black Ops 4,
I
World
played
War
that.
2, is
I
it?
played that.
Yeah.
I think it
Anyway.
was. Oh god, what was it? Hang on. Main series: Call of Duty 1, 2, 3, 4, Modern Warfare, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops. Modern Warfare 3 was terrible. Black Ops 2 was great. Ghost was great. Advanced Warfare was fine. Black Ops 3 was great.
Ghost was not great.
Infinite Warfare I played. It was fine. World War 2 was pretty great. Black Ops 4 was fine. Call of Duty Modern Warfare again?
Yeah, the reboot, mate.
Oh yeah, that's the one I didn't play, I think. So that's why they're doing Modern Warfare 2 now, is because they're rebooting it.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realise.
Which looks excellent, by the way.
So
Jay,
as a reboot then, is it like the same story, just done with all the new
similar
graphics?
story. Similar story. I think it's inspired from the originals, but not the same story exactly.
Yeah, and then Vanguard didn't want to touch with a fucking 10-foot pole, so...
They've even got similar like missions and stuff, but not quite.
I'm actually looking right now. I think Vanguard might be the lowest rated Call of Duty in like decades.
Yeah, I think it is ever.
Ghosts, I think, well, it depends on how you look at it. I think across the board it's the lowest. If you include PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, it's the lowest across the board. Lowest average score.
Sure.
Yeah.
Jay, let's wrap up.
Sure.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm just...
Harry Potter, Hogwarts Legacy, something about linking your account.
Yeah, I spoke to my dad about this a little while ago. So, if you have a Pottermore account, do you know about...
Sorry, Jay.
Yeah, do you know about Pottermore?
Not really.
I think they've actually changed the name to Wizarding World. That's like a whole thing, but it's basically like a fan club thing where you can answer some quiz questions and you can find out what your wand looks like, what house you're in, and also what your Patronus looks like.
In the game?
Just sort of as like a fan thing. I could even show you mine actually, if I still have it. I do still have it installed. Hang on. So here's mine. Let's see if you can see it. Slytherin,
cool.
Represent.
Nice.
My Patronus is of a doe.
Jay, it's kind of funny how you're a Slytherin, but your Patronus is a doe.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? My wand is a vine wand, which is basically the same as like Hermione. Hermione had a vine wand. Sure. But yeah, if you link your fan account to WB Games, you can instantly be put into your house that you want when you get into the game. You also get a special mask you can wear. I think you get the special robes as well, and you also get the same wand that you have on your account.
Okay.
So your wand in game will be the exact one you have on your account. I think you can choose whether to have that or not, but I've done that already. So I was planning on being in Slytherin anyway.
Fair enough.
I can't wait.
So, thoughts on Hogwarts Legacy, Jay? Sort of just general thoughts on it at the moment?
Very excited, getting it day one. It's coming out in February, right?
Yeah.
Let me remind myself when Hogwarts is coming out and also when Dead Island 2 is coming out, because I might have to... I think they're the same week, or like a similar time frame, right? Hogwarts Legacy coming out 10th of February, and then Dead Island 2 is coming out 3rd of February, so it's literally in the same week. I'm gonna have to book off some time from work to play them. That's gonna be tough. Okay. Interesting. Holiday so early in the year. Okay. So yeah, excited about that. Very excited. I know my dad is as well. We spoke about it a little while ago.
Nice. Well, that's it for the news, Jay. I haven't actually got a topic this week, and frankly, we discussed quite a lot
we
about
had,
AC,
yeah, we did have a lot. Yeah, I guess the only other thing, I kind of wanted to talk about. There was the marketing for Scarlet and Violet is starting to ramp up now because we're about 68 days away from release. I want to say.
Okay.
Same for Gotham Knights. There's sort of a bit more marketing around that now. So.
Oh, look at you! Getting all the big games coming.
We're on the up and up for that. Looking forward to it. There was a new trailer for Scarlet and Violet showing off some new Pokemon, so that was kind of cool. More story stuff, more characters.
Which game are you more excited for at the moment?
Scarlet and Violet, I'd say. But Gotham Knights is like just under it. Like if I'm 10 out of 10 excited for Scarlet and Violet, I'm like 9 out of 10 for Gotham Knights.
Okay.
Very, very excited about both.
I think Gotham Knights will be well received because people are craving a Batman game. And also...
Tell me about it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, actually, yeah.
I feel like there has to be a Batman game like every other year to be satiated.
Yeah.
Although I was pretty burnt out on the Arkham games, so I'm kind of glad it's taking this long for another one to come back.
Do you still get bad like when you what do you feel when you think about the Arkham games? Do you feel like exhaustion, or do you feel like cool, or do you feel like
it's like a mixture between mental exhaustion and joy?
Sure.
It's like being happy about being exhausted. It's like a workout, but for your brain.
I feel like it wasn't a workout until the third game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. The second game was probably the most fun in terms of like things that were happening and the actual boss battles. Yeah. But yeah, third one was actually a bit of a letdown in comparison.
Interesting.
Just a change of pace. It was such a different thing going on.
All right. Well, that's it from me, Jay. Anything else you do want to discuss this week?
I'm sure there is, but I'm probably going to have forgotten about it more than likely, aren't I?
That's okay. Don't worry.
I reckon literally we'll come off here and I'll be like, oh, damn.
Damn it.
Always happens.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. Just to let you know, we have officially gone bi-weekly, and I know there's a delay on the shows, so I know. I know. All right?
All right.
Every time I do a Welsh accent, it goes Irish or Scottish. Every time. Yeah,
it's difficult. It's a difficult one.
Thank you, Jay, for your time, your devotion, your attention, and we'll catch you all later. Maybe we'll play some games in the interim. I don't know. We'll see. Have a good week, everyone. Peace.